Hello, everyone. My name is Hank, and I'm an addict. Truly grateful to be at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. And I want to thank everybody who shared before me. I thank Bob. I want to thank Jeff. And I want to thank who. I knew something was up when you get that phone call from Phil. Hey, buddy. He left me alone for the past 2 years or 3, you know what I mean? And he called me on the telephone. Hey, buddy. And he asked me for some guidance to get someone to be able to be a part of this, and I directed him in a direction, and the gentleman handled the topic very well. And he said, I'm at it, buddy. I got something for you. But it's truly an honor. It's truly an honor, you know what I mean? To be asked to do anything, you know what I mean? And what I understand today more about my spiritual condition, I'm not as eager. What I'm realizing today, I'm being more driven by my spiritual condition, not by my ego.
Come on. There you go.
Because there was a time I was driven by my ego to run to this podium to want to talk about and share and all that stuff like that. But what I understand today, that I realize today when I'm listening to my spirit.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And what I realized today through the process of it, the mask must go. You know what I mean? Because I through my personal experience, it might not be your experience, but through my personal experience, I was able to live through some things because I realized that God sets the stage sometimes for some things that happen in my life to walk through some things to build my faith up. That I'm able to carry a message today, not about what I say, it's more about how I live.
That's right. Come on.
Because I realize that I'm a good motherfucking talker. And sometimes, look, that's a defect.
Yep.
Most of us suffer from that defect of talking. If you can talk your way all fucking day long with no goddamn money to get some dope. We some good talkers. So I'm a good talker. But I needed to understand my talking needs to match up with my living. I'm talking about the mask must go. I'm talking about transparency. I'm talking about coming here, getting clean, and talking clean about the pain. But after being here, after a while, thinking that I've obtained some business, working some steps, obtaining some things, but talking recovery, but not wanting to live recovery when the rubber hits the rumble strips. And I'm talking about with clean time.
Uh-oh. Ouch.
Kind of quiet in this motherfucker.
You can hear it.
I'm talking about getting to that point where you got to live this goddamn program because you talked it so much and you talked it so much about how God is so good. God is still good, but God's going to see how strong your faith is because you talk so good about this program. But can you live through this program?
Oh, that's good. Hey,
Share it.
So I did the whole 9 yards Mark talked about over there, cheating and all that stuff like that. I'm talking about going from carrying a message to living the mess. So you can go from carrying the message, talking the message, so you can go to living the mess in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous with clean time, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, but not finding your way, practice them in your everyday life, because the disease will cut you off from the sharing experience.
uh-oh.
Ouch.
I'm not just talking to you, newcomer. I'm talking to the old timer here too, goddammit. Because we seem to sometimes get some clean time and start living off our clean time and don't think we still need to do some work on our spiritual condition, and the disease of addiction will grab us right where we at, where our good clean time at, sharing at, talking the book, living the book and all that shit like that. Just because, look, because you got clean time don't fucking impress me no goddamn more. Because you read the book don't impress me no goddamn more. What impressed me more is the way how you live.
That's right.
And I'm only sharing about my experience. You can quote all this shit all you want to, but when the rubber meets the rubber stiff, can you live that shit?
That's right.
See, the mask must go. We can take the mask off, but we forget we still got the clown outfit still in the motherfucking closet. You can remove the motherfucking mask. What about the clown outfit that you still ain't surrendered to? You know, when you put the clown outfit on, it make you act like a motherfucking clown when nobody looking. That's where the disease of addiction picks your ass up. I understand a little bit about obsession and compulsion. They said the disease of addiction always resurfaces. It didn't say sometimes, it always resurfaces.
Uh-oh. Yes.
So I was here a couple years ago and stuff like that. Golfed with the defect dragging me. And it had nothing to do with the disease of addiction. It had everything with the choices that I made. Mm-hmm. I believe today that we all got a choice today.
That's right.
You got a choice for your own freedom if you want to. I don't beat my sponsees and stuff like that, what they need to go through. I said, go on through that. Tell me how that shit worked out.
That's right.
Because when a motherfucker ain't open, the motherfucker ain't open. You got to let them go through what they got to go through. I had to go through what I needed to go through because what happens is my sponsor was there to guide me through it, to help me through it. He can give me all the suggestions that I want to, but what I realized, if I'm not open to receive the message, if I'm not open to receive the vision of hope, I'm going to do what I need to do to get the pain that is necessary for me to get when I'm going through this struggle. So like I said, man, I've been through all that, cheating on the wife and all that stuff like that. I've been through all that stuff like that, the pain of that, the degradation, man. I was sitting there talking with my sponsee, and I was telling him it wasn't so much that, you know what I mean, I hated to see the wounded look in my wife's eyes, but guess what? I needed to take a look at my character.
Uh-oh.
This is about character building.
That's right.
This is about me being in my own skin with myself, me and God, with the guidance and the help of a sponsorship. Am I okay in my own skin? Guess what? If you're going to be a motherfucking cheater, be a cheater to the day. Don't be out perpetrating the motherfucking fraud. I got tired of perpetrating the fraud. Guess what? If you want to be a cheater and do all that shit like that, be by your motherfucking self. Can you do that? If you're going to be a thief, be a motherfucking thief to the end. Keep stealing, motherfucker. Let us know how it feels from the other side when you lock the fuck up. Don't blame it on a disease. I had to understand that. I had to own all that stuff. My sponsor had to guide me through that process. I had to come clean. I had to be transparent, not only with myself, but with the group and with my sponsor. That's what brought about freedom. I had to get in touch with the spiritual principles of continue to keep not only picking up the mask, because then we have what I realized there's something about the look-alike. Now how we all look like we recovering? Everybody look like they recovering. Like it's just like going to the basketball court. You ever went to the basketball court and the motherfucker look like they can hoop? And it be that motherfucker that got the Jordans on, the nice socks on and shit like that. You ain't never seen the motherfucker play basketball now, but he looked like he can hoop. Then it's time for you to pick. You be like, that motherfucker look like he got all the whole outfit on. Good motherfucker. I want him. He's 6'9", he looks big in the motherfucker. Give me him. Get on the basketball court and throw that motherfucker the ball. You be like, oh, this is some bull. I got tired of looking like I was recovering. Got tired of looking like I was covering. I'm talking about the mask must go.
That's right.
I got tired of perpetrating the fraud, man, with clean time. God damn it, I needed to realize my spiritual condition and my integrity wasn't based off what I was driving, who I was screwing, what I owned, and all that stuff like that. I needed to realize my spiritual condition was based off my growth that happens on the inside, not none of that stuff that I've obtained on the outside.
That's right. There you go.
You stay clean long enough, you get all that shit. That's fellowship wealth. You don't smoke crack, you're supposed to get some shoes and clothes and all that shit. Stop smoking crack, you gonna get a car. Stop smoking crack, your credit gonna get good and all that shit like that. What the fuck? That's like, I love my credit's good. Motherfucker, you're not smoking. What the fuck? About my spiritual condition, man. What am I gonna do about my spiritual condition growth? See, it ain't popular so much when you talk about spiritual condition stuff or growing on the inside. It's so good that sometimes I had to realize my distorted thinking was caught up in the mess sometimes. My confusion was, what was the message? I was attached to the message, was attached to mess all the time. You know, sometimes we at a meeting, the motherfucker keep talking about whooping his ass, whooping his woman's ass, and keep stealing all that shit, and we in the meeting screaming, talking about, share that shit! But we don't talk about, when people start talking about the spiritual growth process that happens in the literature talks about, that we grow here more spiritually, less self-centered and more God-centered.
That's right. There you go.
That shit becomes attractive to me, and I believe that happens in a phase that I need to go through the things that happen in life. My wife decided to lead this program with 23 years clean. Guess what? When I realized I beating myself up for so long because I thought her decision was based off me. I said, how could you use with 23 years clean with my good sharing ass in the motherfucking house? Oh, shit. I got enough clean time for both of us, motherfucker. We read enough books in here and all that shit like that. But I watched my wife work steps through and everything like that. And when she told me, guess what? She had to tell me the truth. Guess what? My decision had nothing to do with you. My decision was based off of me.
Damn.
See, I needed to know how to play my place. I need to understand the decision she made. Yes, it affected me, but guess what? It wasn't my choice. It wasn't my choice. And what I needed to understand when I began to start carrying the message, sometimes to carry the message is a silent thing you do, that sometimes you got to be attraction rather than you talking all the time. You had to be attracting to walk a new way of life, God darn it, not always trying to talk your way.
Thank you.
It's about living, man. I can't talk my way into a new way of life. I got to live my way into a new way of life.
That's right.
It wasn't until I began to play my part, till my sponsor had to give me the guidance, the vision of hope, to tell me, guess what? Leave her the fuck alone. Told you the clown suit was still at home. Clown suit was still in the closet. I would go home and beat her the fuck up about her decision, but guess what? It wasn't until I just surrendered and said, you know what? That is her decision. Guess what? My decision is to stay here, to stay clean, to still be a vision of hope. Not only for y'all, but a vision of hope for my wife if she ever decides to come back here. That brought about a surrender to myself. And when I begin to surrender to that, I begin to get free. She was free already. She made her decision. She's still going around the house cleaning, motherfucker. She's still living her life and doing what she needs to do. Ain't no unmanageability going on in my life and everything like that. She's still living her life and stuff like that. I didn't bound myself up because of her fucking decision. We allow other people's decisions to affect us sometimes, and we don't surrender to our shit. Wasn't until I surrendered to my shit and said, you know what, I got to keep moving forward. She's going to keep doing what she needs to do as far as her life, and I'm going to keep doing what I need to do. And when I surrendered to that, I brought about freedom. I needed my sponsor to help me get through that, man. I had to remove the mask of that. I had to be coming here and tell y'all the goddamn truth. It affected me. It hurt me, devastated me. That's what brings me about freedom and stuff like that. So I can be able to live the message, not talk the message.
That's right.
I go back to when my mother and father used to say that shit to me. Kids are supposed to sing, not to be heard. See, these days, I'd rather be seen than to be heard all the motherfucking time. I believe everybody else got a message sometime to carry. Sometimes I need to be obedient to sit and listen where the message can come to feed my spirit, man.
There it is.
So I'm in this transition right now, and I don't know where God got me going at, but what I realized today that I'm trying to be obedient, man. I didn't surrender to the motherfucking clown suit and went out and burnt that motherfucking. So I'm saying, God, this orchestrating, I believe everything that's happened in my life right now, it brings me not only closer to you guys, because I need people more because God works through people, but I need God even more.
That's right. Yes.
I ain't here to try to preach to you guys, I'm trying to tell you what my experience is right now and what's happening in my life. I think it's a transition. I don't understand because I'm on a not need to know basis. Because when you're working with God, you're on a not need to know basis. Because if you really knew what was going to happen to you, you stay long enough, you'll fuck it up. So I'm learning how to just go where God asked me to go at. Stay open to where the message is coming from. And allow my spirit to continue to keep being fed. My true values is continue to keep being myself. I no longer today need the fellowship to orchestrate who I need to be no goddamn it more.
That's right.
I allow God to bring the right people in my life, the right men in my life, to help me through this process. And I don't put a limitation on who God brings in my life. Not how much clean time. We be thinking sometimes we're clean around a bunch of motherfuckers got a lot of clean time. They just going to help us do everything. Sometimes my message comes from the newcomer. So I'm open. I'm open right now. I'm open to receive the message sometimes because God speaks through people. I need to use people more than I use things, man. I need to understand where my values is. Today is where my values is. I'm in my fourth quarter of my motherfucking life. I ain't got no time to be playing no goddamn games.
Love you, man. There you go.
I went through that whole process, the same thing Mark talked about when she flipped that thing way back there and shit like that. I remember that same incident when I put my motherfucking thumb in my mouth. It was me, look. That George said, what the fuck happened? Why are you so caught up in that motherfucking shit? The shit is just crazy than the motherfucking because it's strange. It's something about when you go get some strange ass, but you don't look at after you get strange ass when they start acting fucking strange on your ass. So I no longer want to carry the mess. Because you can go back to carrying the mess and not carrying the message. I want to be a living example of what God can do, and I want to be a living example of what this program is. And it doesn't make me perfect. It just makes me be okay in my own skin.
That's right. That's good.
It gives me an opportunity to realize that I don't want to perpetrate a fraud no more. I want my integrity to speak. I don't want me to live by, my manhood ain't defined by how many women I knock down. My manhood ain't defined by how big my dick is. My manhood ain't defined by what car I drive, what clothes I wear, what shoes I buy. My manhood is defined by my integrity. My integrity, my spirituality. That's what I want me to be defined by that. Because we all going to have that gone, but not forgotten. And what I realized, when you're gone but not forgotten, there's a difference between the old timer and, what is it called? What is the other one? Help me out. The old timer and the, no, the other one. What did you say it again, George? No, the last one.
Newcomer.
No, the old one, the one that passed away, goddammit. There you go, the predecessor. I didn't hear him that well, goddamn. I'm getting old, goddamn. Told you I'm in my fucking fourth quarter, goddamn. I ain't got no time to play. You think I wanted to throw away the last bit of my fucking testosterone on some bullshit? My wife getting all the last bit of this shit. My shit's still working. You know what I mean? So there's a difference between the old timer and the predecessor. Old timer is the one that sits in the room to help continue, to help deposit things inside of you that's here in the present. The predecessor is the one that has left, that has deposited something that you pay reference to. You hear people always talk about Dot Talley, Dave Tree, all those people. They didn't deposit something that reference. You know what I mean? Ronnie Gray, all those guys. Sometimes you draw off those things and say, you remember when Ronnie Greer said that? Remember when Dave Tree says that? The old timer is the one that sits here in the meeting to continue to show us his experience sometimes, that still comes to the meeting, that still shows up, that still lives this program to the best of their ability. They don't make them perfect, nothing like that. They still visible, man. And they still being transparent, man. Transparency continue to allow y'all to see into me, the intimacy with the group, man. The intimacy that you can see into me, that I can bring anything here that, guess what, that affects my recovery. Because I've learned today that if I continue to keep trying to hold some business, I give the disease the power. I've been dragged long enough. I just don't want to be dragged no motherfucking more. Today I'm free. Today I'm free. There's something about being free. There's something about getting clean. You realize clean is feeling so goddamn good that you don't want to kill yourself no goddamn anymore. If God calls me home today, I don't know about you. This shit is so motherfucking good. I don't know about you. I'm not ready to go. Because it have gotten good, man. Through my own experiences, man. I needed to. I see that thing right there. What is that, 20 minutes? I got that, baby. through my own experiences, man, that have built my faith, has built my spiritual condition, has brought me close to the God that understands me. You understand what I'm saying? Because it takes a lifelong to understand God. That a God that understands me, that loves me for who I am, that put the right people in my life to love me for who I am. Shit. I ain't ready to go. I don't know about y'all. This shit has got good. It has got good. So I just want to thank y'all, man. I really want to thank the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous for forcing me to work on being a better man. You know what I mean? A better man. I was just at my sister-in-law's funeral, and it's something about this process of recovery that allows you to grow in this process. And at one time, they never wanted to call me on nothing. And to see them that when things happen in life, that wants me to be a part of it. That when your family can see the transparency of what this program have done, and they reap the benefits of this program and stuff like that, they want you around. Not the look-alike, Hank. I'm talking about the one that God wants me to be, that wants me to be around. So I did the eulogy at my sister-in-law funeral. And it was very overwhelming. But when you can see your family, see what this program has done for you.
That's right. That's right.
It ain't about perpetrating the fraud here to y'all.
That's right.
They don't come to meetings, God darn it. They see the real me for who I am.
That's right.
And when they can ask me to do something like that, to be a part of that, and want me to be a part of everything like that, I thank Narcotics Anonymous. I thank God. I thank the guys that helped me through this process. I thank my sponsor, man. I thank people, man. I thank you men, man. That's why we got to come together and stop beating, turn down each other and worrying about what each other got and all that bullshit and stuff like that. Let's worry about how we can spiritually grow with each other in this process, that we can be better men, better fathers, better husbands, you know what I mean, better employees and stuff like that, and live by our integrity. To stand for our integrity. I want to stand for my integrity. I want my legacy to say, you know what? Hank was an all right motherfucker. He might have been silly than a motherfucker, but goddamn it, he was an all right guy, goddamn it. I want to continue to stay in good standing here in Narcotics Anonymous and in good standing in life. So I owe it all to this program. I owe it all to God. One more thing before I close. Guess what? I got this ticket. And sometimes you don't know how people view you until there's an opportunity where you ask them for help. So I got this ticket at work. And most of the guys that I told them I got a speeding ticket. And I drive for a living. I hold it to the utmost, man. I'm one of the assets in my job.
That's right.
They love what I do. As a result of Narcotics Anonymous, they wish they had about 10 more of me and shit like that. That type of shit. You know what I mean? So I had to go back and tell them I got this speeding ticket. I told my sponsor, I said, I got a speeding ticket. He said, a speeding ticket? He said, motherfucker, you the slowest motherfucker on the earth. We be driving to conventions. This one, look, George, I have a fucking heart attack. George drives like fast. But he drives and he tries to talk to you and he be jerking on the wheel a little bit. So you be like, oh, this motherfucker right here. You know what I mean? So look, I drive and shit like this, and we supposed to get there in 8 hours. You know, we getting there in 10, right? So George don't like, I be driving at a certain speed. George be like, man, let's keep up with the speed. Let's do the speed limit. Mr. Safety motherfucking guy and shit like that, right? Because I get awards and all that shit at my job, so like that. So we're driving shit like that. George will start panicking if a tractor trailer passed me. He'd be in the car. He'd be like, oh, fuck, you got tractor trailers passing you and shit. God, get the fuck out the wheel. What the fuck, man? Damn. So I told him I got this ticket. He said, how the fuck you get a ticket and shit like that? You know, you're the slowest motherfucker in the county and shit like that. Well, I got the ticket and shit like that. So I went down with my integrity, which I wasn't driving 40 miles an hour in the 25 miles in speed limit. So when I got my integrity, I'm going to stand for what I believe in. Right. I'm just not going to take anything that you're going to give me. I'm not going to laugh at your fucking jokes and they ain't no fucking funny. I'm not going to sit and stand around when you try to tell me some justification shit and say, all right, man, this no matter what, don't use. That's bullshit. Because George never did that to me. So I go down there and fight the ticket and shit like that. And I went to my employers. I said, man, I'm going down and fight this ticket and stuff like that. Will you, man, writing a letter for me, you know what I mean, about who I am? You've been working with me for almost 20 years and shit like that, this job. Will you write this letter for me? You know what I mean? Me and my employers, sometimes we go back and forth because I stand for what I believe. You just can't just talk to me any kind of way at my job or anything like that. So I go in there, and when I need to address some shit with them, George will tell you, I go right in there, I go straight at them, union and all. Look, you got to follow the format. Just like we got a format with the basic text, you better follow the fucking contract. This is what they say. You ain't going to tell me no okey-doke. So they get mad at me. So I asked them going, I said, will you write this letter for me? They look at me like, write a letter for you? I said, write a letter for me and shit about who I am. I said, my wife said, woo, that's going to be a pretty fucked up letter right there. You always bad on them motherfuckers and shit like that. I said, okay. So my general manager, my operation manager, he always go back and forth. So you could tell his integrity how he felt about me, right? He wrote the letter and shit like that. The letter was 3 lines. It was 3 lines. Good guy, always on time. Come to work every time. We can rely on him and stuff like that. Bang! That was it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You could have saved the fucking paper. You know what I mean? So I asked my supervisor. I said, will you write a letter? He said, why, certainly. He said, because I respect you. Because the simple fact you come to work all the time. We can count on you. You're a valuable employee here. And stuff like that. And he said, you know what? I even seen you on TV doing that little outreach service work that you do. So I know you do work in the community, too. He said, guess what? I'm going to write this letter. This motherfucker wrote a letter. You can swear for God that he was a family member. It blew me away. I mean, I'm talking about blew me away. It blew the fucking judge away. The judge read this letter. He said, man, they must really love you at that guy doing the job. You are a valuable person. He said, there's no way that I can even take any kind of action as far as this ticket that you got. But you already know that you ain't getting out of here without paying no motherfucking money. You might not get no points and shit. But the realization is that guess what? My ownership of what I did wrong, like I told George, I said, I'm not going there to fight and lie and say that I didn't do nothing. But guess what? The realization is I was going over the speed limit. But I wasn't going 40. I was going 35. And I said, my fight is, guess what? He was incorrect. I got a GPS in my truck. It tells me how far I went. And I got the printout that tells you how fucking fast I was going in this fucking thing. So therefore, I'm not living up to what this officer said. I'm living to what the motherfucking shit that y'all go by. So guess what? How we going to do this? He said, we're going to lower the fine down, but you ain't, guess what? You ain't getting no points, but you going to have to pay some of that money. I said, I ain't got no problem with that. That's my integrity day when I can walk in there and be honest.
That's right.
Honest and accept the consequences. So therefore, gentlemen, if you're going to live wrong, take the ownership of living wrong. But if you're going to live right, thank God for allowing you living right just today in your skin. This ain't about being perfect. My name is Hank and I'm an addict.